go to JD. JD is next up on PTL. Hello, JD.
Thank you for the time. You mentioned that you appreciate everything that Senator Sanders has done in his 43-year career.
For the most
Can you
part.
name me two things?
For the most
Could
part.
you name me two?
Sure.
Could you name me two
Absolutely.
things that you appreciate?
Absolutely. Pushing for raising minimum wage, being on the right side of history when it comes to our democracy, being able to call out Donald Trump and going on the opposition. For example, Fox News, he's the housing issues that he has continued to talk about, the poor, maternity leave, food stamps, welfare, and any government program that he has voted for, and he's voted for probably thousands of them, programs that can help minorities and help those that are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck be able to live their life, taxing the rich, their fair share, calling out Donald Trump for the biggest tax cuts in decades. There is a plethora of things that Bernie Sanders has done in his career that I admire very much, JD. Now, I named you more than two, but go ahead.
Touche. Did you hear me? Touche.
Meaning?
Hello?
Yes, sir. You're still on.
Touche, meaning well done. I think it's a French term. I'm not positive. you know.
Well, listen, JD, I let anyone ask me whatever they want. Doesn't mean you're always going to like my answer, but I'm going to always be honest with you.
Just real quick. I know you're busy today. Regarding Al's call, I just looked it up the other day, and according to government statistics, black home ownership was up 6% under Trump. Income was up. I can't remember the number, maybe 7 or 8%. And net worth was up for blacks and Hispanics of the 4 years of Trump, per the government agency reports.
How was it when Joe Biden took over? Were those statistics the same, or was that just a accumulation of averages over 4 years?
To be quite honest, I just looked under what it was for Trump. I don't know what it was for Biden.
The reason why.
I believe it's gone. I believe it's gone down.
Okay, so the reason why I asked that question, and you could tell me whether you disagree or not, but I think most economists, you can gather up 4 years, and that's fine. But I think most people will say, where was the economy and where were we at when Donald Trump left office? And here's what we do know. We do know that the economy was in shambles when Donald Trump took office. Now, I'm not blaming Donald Trump for everything that happened when it came to COVID, but I am blaming him for the response.
We lost 7 million jobs.
Yeah, correct. And his response was abysmal. We are one of the richest countries. We can disagree on this, but we are one of the richest countries in the world. And per capita, we had one of the worst death rates. Not the worst, but one of the worst. And yes, I put some, not all, but some of that responsibility on Donald Trump. So, we can go over numbers, but the bottom line is Donald Trump left Joe Biden a horrendous economy. Barack Obama left Donald Trump an economy not even close, far better than what Donald Trump left it as. And I think that's important to note.
Do you agree with Dr. Blair and Fauci that about 98.5% of the deaths under COVID were people with three or more comorbidities?
So over 70% of the country has comorbidities. So that doesn't surprise me one bit, JD. We are a very
three or four. They had 3 or 4 that died. 98% of them had 3 or 4. So I think that's a big contributor to that number.
So a contributor is, by the way, there are a lot of people with comorbidities around the world. Donald Trump's response to COVID, we were not ready for it. Donald Trump did an abysmal job. We'll have to leave it there. We are a very unhealthy country. There's no question about that. And you're going to be supporting and voting for a man that is morbidly obese, that has a diet of KFC and McDonald's. So if you want to talk about comorbidities, the man who you're voting for has a few of those. And by the way, he doesn't have any diseases. He wasn't born with diabetes. He became morbidly obese because he's unhealthy, because that's a decision that he decided to make himself. I think everybody has a personal responsibility. If something is hereditary, that's different. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Aaron. Aaron is next up on PTL. Hi, Aaron.
How are you doing today?
Good. What's on your mind today?
Well, I just heard good show today. I heard you ask the other caller about the two-state solution, and I was wondering what the two-state solution looks like.
Well, it's a complex answer, but not really to get in the Middle East stuff. But what a two-state solution would look like, where I'm hopeful that it would look like peace, where you have a group of people that have their land, you have a group of people that have their land, and they have a mutual agreement when it comes to the land. And I would be hopeful, and I'm hopeful that this would lower innocent people dying, terrorist groups like Hamas. It might not, but I think it would lower the tensions. And right now, I think we both could agree There's a lot of tension in the Middle East. There always has been, but it's at an all-time high now. I don't want to see a war. The problem is I don't think Benjamin Netanyahu is on board with that, and that's part of the problem. It's not the entire problem.
Well, did you just say as far as one state would be over here, one state would be over there? That's
Well,
like the boundary in the middle. But when I hear
yeah,
the administration talking about it, it's like the landmass stays the same. It's just you call it two states.
well, there are different definitions in defining what exactly the two-state solution would be. The bottom line here is Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel would have to come to an agreement, obviously, with another nation in regards to a solution. Calling it a two-state solution, it might look differently with what they could agree upon. The problem is I don't think Benjamin Netanyahu even wants to go to the bargaining table. I want a two-state solution. I want a solution. Let's just start there. A ceasefire where innocent people will not die, right? But when you have hateful people in the world, particularly Hamas and some in Palestine as well, that believe Israel should cease to exist, it's very difficult to come to any solution with someone who doesn't think that Israel should exist, if that makes sense, sir.
Yeah, it's hard to deal with those folks. I appreciate you taking my call.
Thank you, sir. Very good question. I think we both want the same, right? We don't want innocent people to die.